What happens when a government spends weeks rewriting its tax code over a threat its own target company just brushed off? Indonesia asked Toyota to leave Thailand for good. Toyota said no, and Thailand changed its tax code anyway, because the real pressure had nothing to do with that one pitch. Act 1. A plant already at capacity. What does a government actually do when a neighboring country tries to poach its cornerstone manufacturing industry and the automaker declines the offer? On the surface, Thailand appeared to win without firing a shot. Toyota stayed put. But beneath that apparent victory sits an automotive ecosystem under severe structural strain. To understand why Thailand had to rewrite its tax rules anyway, you have to look past the political headlines and step inside an assembly plant running out of room. Honda's manufacturing plant in Prakinburi. The facility builds cornerstone models like the City, Civic, Accord, and both the HR-V and CR-V for domestic buyers while exporting to more than 70 countries. It is operating right near its full capacity of 110,000 units a year. Honda wants to bring in smaller Japanese models to widen customer choices, but it cannot build them locally without more floor space. Importing them directly from Japan triggers heavy tax penalties compared to importing a similar electric vehicle from China. That customs gap is the real story running underneath the regional drama. A Chinese-built electric vehicle enters the Thai market with zero tariffs under existing trade pacts, while an equivalent Japanese import faces heavy duties. So when Indonesia's finance minister pitched Toyota executives at a Jakarta auto show in early August, the spectacle caught global attention. Toyota reaffirmed its base in Thailand, but the public clash exposed an uneven tax framework that Thai officials were already scrambling to fix. Act 2, a reform that predates the headline. By mid-August, Thailand's finance ministry publicly announced a comprehensive restructuring of the national automotive excise tax. The public assumed Bangkok was reacting in real time to Jakarta's aggressive pitch, but industrial policy at this scale is rarely drafted overnight. The ministry was already moving on a pre-existing blueprint, using the sudden regional spotlight to accelerate changes that domestic car makers had demanded for months. The proposed tax mechanism is straightforward. Vehicle excise rates will be cut for manufacturers that build locally, while rates will rise on fully imported cars from brands with no domestic manufacturing footprint. Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister Ekniti Nikitan Prapas established a firm timeline, targeting September for details and full implementation before the end of the year. The strategy rewards physical industrial commitment while penalizing pure import channels. The timeline reveals the real narrative. Back in May, Thai automotive industry associations jointly petitioned the government to widen the tax spread between locally assembled and imported vehicles. By late July, Ekniti was already warning that structural reform was Thailand's last chance to defend its industrial base. Indonesia's 4th of August pitch to Toyota did not start this reform. It simply gave Thai policymakers a hard deadline and the political cover to move decisively. Act 3. Who the current system actually rewards. The core Distortion Ekniti is trying to repair runs straight through Thailand's own historic trade agreements. Decades of trade liberalization opened regional doors, but the resulting tariff architecture now produces unintended domestic consequences. To see why local assembly lines are feeling squeezed, one has to examine who the current import rules actually benefit. Under the ASEAN-China Free Trade Area, Chinese manufactured vehicles enter Thailand duty-free, while Thai-made cars receive no reciprocal advantage in mainland China. Meanwhile, established Japanese manufacturers building vehicles locally with Thai workers and domestic supply chains receive zero relief on the models they still need to import. Thailand cannot legally raise border tariffs without violating international trade treaties. So policymakers are turning to the one domestic liver trade law cannot touch, the internal excise tax code. The Japanese incumbents are playing a nuanced game. Toyota avoided confrontation and reaffirmed its long-term commitment to Thailand while continuing steady capital investment in Indonesia, where it maintains more than 15 years of manufacturing operations. Honda occupies a more pressing middle ground. It wants tangible tax credits for the vehicles it manufactures in Thai factories, alongside meaningful tax relief for the niche models it cannot build locally. Behind the corporate negotiations lies a harsh industrial reality. Surapong Paisit Patanapong of the Federation of Thai Industries has tracked a steady production slowdown all year. Thailand's vehicle production target for 2026 has already been lowered from 1.5 million units down to 1.45 million. April output sank to its lowest level in 5 years, reflecting a manufacturing base under acute pressure. Act 4. Two pressures, one industry. Thailand's automotive hub is absorbing shocks from two different fronts simultaneously. One is structural, driven by trade rules, Chinese EV import competition, and domestic tax adjustments. The other is purely external and geopolitical. Only one of these forces has anything to do with regional competition from Indonesia. The Middle East represents Thailand's third largest vehicle export destination. buying roughly one-fifth of all exported Thai cars. Ongoing regional conflict disrupting shipping through the Strait of Hormuz has cut Thai automotive shipments to the Middle East by more than a third in the first half of 2026. 850,000 people work directly in this industry. Another 1.5 million livelihoods depend on it indirectly. That is the shock absorbing all of this, and it has nothing to do with taxes or Toyota at all. If the new excise framework functions as intended, it builds a clear economic reward loop. Automakers that commit tangible capital to Thai factories, local suppliers, and domestic workers receive significantly lower tax rates. Companies seeking to sell finished cars without local investment pay higher duties. That framework creates an immediate financial incentive to keep assembly lines running and protect hundreds of thousands of domestic jobs. Yet this policy mechanism has distinct boundaries. It does not alter the underlying free trade treaties that created duty-free access in the first place. It merely navigates around them. And the excise adjustments primarily shield entrenched Japanese manufacturers like Toyota and Honda, rather than establishing a completely neutral playing field for emerging new competitors entering the market. Act 5. What Thailand is actually defending. Thailand has held the undisputed title of Southeast Asia's premier automotive manufacturing hub for decades. That industrial supremacy was constructed entirely on trade openness and global integration. Today, Thai authorities find themselves relying on domestic tax interventions to safeguard the very manufacturing foundations that early trade policies created. This dynamic illustrates the central paradox of trade liberalization across the region. The very free trade agreements that integrated Thailand into global automotive supply chains now allow rival manufacturers to ship finished cars across the border without tariffs. As a result, the agreements originally designed to strengthen domestic industrial capacity are now undercutting local assembly lines. Indonesia's direct pitch to Toyota was never truly about capturing Thailand's assembly lines. Industry executives recognize that Thai operations specialize in commercial vehicles supported by an extensive supplier network, while Indonesia concentrates on entirely different passenger vehicle categories. What Jakarta's bold public pitch really accomplished was handing Bangkok a convenient, politically low-cost reason to accelerate urgent domestic reforms. What does it mean to defend a position you have held for decades using the same tool, trade openness, that is now the thing quietly working against you? I am Hiro the Hornbill, and this is the ASEAN Angle. If this episode gave you a new way of seeing the region, subscribe so you do not miss the next one. New episodes weekly, link in the description.